Hi friends, welcome back to my stamping corner. I wanted to show you a card that I was working on this weekend. This is kind of the beginning of it. I'm going to make a masculine card. It's going to be a birthday card using this balloon stamp. I'm going to watercolor on it and also watercolor on the sky back here. Now I have a color theme in mind because there's a couple of challenges that I'm wanting to participate in. So I can put this on my blog, and let me see how it goes. So the colors are this navy, this light blue, a red, and a craft. So let me show you what I've done so far. So I have this craft paper, and the reason why I only have one layer, you know, it's too thin to make it a card. So it's just going to be the front. And then I have this piece here because this is also part of another challenge, is the sketch. So it has this middle piece with some decorative edging around it. But I wanted to make sure that, you know, I wanted the stitching line all the way around. And this is by Little Inker Designs. And this is the largest rectangle. This one does not cut. This one only does the stitching. The rest of them do cut. And I really, really, really like this set. It's the only set of the rectangles that I have, so that's all I know, and I really do like it. I don't see the need to get anything else, at least not right now. But I wanted to continue the edge even on the other pieces that I add. So for this scalloped right here, this is an older die. It is by My Favorite Things. It is a large scallop, and what I did is I ran it through my die cut machine. And so it cuts on one side, but not here at the top. And so I made this a little longer, so it makes it easier to adhere it to this cream colored or this watercolor. And this is a Strathmore 400 series paper, which is the best paper that I have. So I just had some Old Navy, not Old Navy, but you know, navy colored cards like that I've had for a long time, so it is Old Navy, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple minutes, pause the camera, and trim this down. I'm also going to stamp this hot air balloon on this in white embossing powder. And then when I come back, I'm going to watercolor the balloon as well as the background. And then I'll be cutting this out. So just hold on tight. Okay, thanks. Okay, welcome back. All right, so when I went ahead and cut out my the balloon, I embossed it. I also embossed a happy birthday that I got from this Paper Smooches set. I don't even know the name of it. I think I got it free. You know, after you purchase so much, you get it free, but I think it is available for sale. Anyway, so I used this happy birthday. I absolutely love Paper Smooches stuff. So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I watercolor. And I was going to use my palette paints, but I figured that would probably be a little tricky for me because I'm not as familiar with them. So, but I am more familiar with distressed inks. So I like to get my paper wet. I like to do the wet on wet. And this is Vintage Photo. So I'm going to just put one layer on and I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to come back up and do some shading later. Okay, make sure I get all the ink off. And I'm going to do stripes on my balloon. And I'll be perfectly honest here. I had I restarted the video, and when I thought I was done, found out that it didn't even record. So anyway, this is Fired Brick. So here I am doing it again. So I have one already done. So we'll have to wait. So this is my favorite part. You put it in, and then it just kind of bleeds. here at the end. I just want the center to be more faded than, you know, the top and the bottom. I'm going to kind of help guide them. Help them to marry, get to know each other. And I will also go back and add more. You know, see that little bit of red there? Let me see if I can pick that up. Not 100%, but you know what? That's watercolor. I'm not going to stress about it. Watercolor is supposed to be relaxing and enjoyable and not stressful. And if I worry about it not doing, you know, what I want, then I'm using the wrong medium. Because watercolor is like your kids. You have a way for them, you know, a way for it to go, but it doesn't always do what you want. So, I love the way that just, shoo, kind of grows. Kind of push it. Kind of push it down. And lightly let them mingle. And then I'll let that dry, and then I will also go back and do some shading. The other color, I'm going to use this tumble glass, you know, kind of alternate them. The stripes here will be tumble glass. So that's why I'm not doing it all at once. You know, doing all of them the same. Anyway, just kind of rambling while I'm painting here. You know, it's kind of funny when I looked at my stamps. Well, when I found out that I absolutely love watercolor, I looked at all my stamps and found out that I really didn't have that many stamps that I could watercolor. In fact, I kept buying sentiment stamps and sentiment dies, and I didn't have hardly any stamps that I could color, because I'm not a Copic fan. I just don't like it. It's just not for me. And people do awesome work with it. It's just not my style. I like the softer look of watercolor. Okay, so here we go. Let's go back in and we'll do this light blue tumble glass. Got to keep in with my theme of the challenge, going to keep the colors. And you know, I never thought that this light blue and the red goes together, but you know, I'm impressed. It does. It looks really nice. I don't know. I usually don't do, you know, contrast colors like this. I try to how nice it's looking. Let me see if I can just go ahead and darken up the edge up here, and then I don't have to go back. That's looking nice. I like how it's darker here at the bottom. If you can see, darker here at the bottom and at the top, and then in the center is kind of the faded. Awesome. Okay, so you know, and the trick is you need to use a lot of water. That's why you need to use watercolor paper whenever you're, oh my gosh, like, there's a bug. So sorry. It is a little late, and the bugs have come out, and it's, I do have the back door open. In Southern California, I hate to tell you, those of you that are like snowed in and stuff, it was in the 80s today and the kids were swimming in the pool. Not my kids, but the kids that live in my neighborhood. I just couldn't believe it. I thought they were crazy. But so the door's been open and now the bugs are flying in. Okay, so back to what I was saying. You really do need to use watercolor paper, because the regular cardstock, even the heavy-duty cardstock, is just not designed to hold water like this. And even as much water as I'm putting on this is not buckling. Oh, I'm liking this. Okay. This blue looks really super duper great. Alright. Nice. And then we do the, whatever this is called, the bottom part of the balloon, not the basket, the part where all the hot air goes up, where the flames are. I'm too scared to go in a hot air balloon. I don't know if I'm chicken or smart. I'm sure they're very safe. Alright, so I'm going to go back and put a little bit more red on. Just lightly tap it where I want to add more red. It's looking good, if I do say so. I think I got my finger in that blue. So sorry. No worries, I can always add more. You know, I've been doing card making for 20 years and I just don't know how to do it neatly. I am just get ink all over my fingers, glue, which I hate. God, I wish I had Teflon fingers sometimes so that the glue wouldn't stick to my fingers. God, it just irritates me. Oh, I think it's getting worse as I'm getting older too. I'm a pretty patient person, but if you know any people that are patient, they all have their limits. Alright, I think that's going to end up with too much red, so I don't want to blot it out. If I did, it would just be too much. So what I cleaned my brush, dried, you know, kind of cleaned it off, and then so now I made it thirsty. Now the brush is willing to soak up, you know, the ink that's there. Let me add a little bit more blue here to this where I got my fingers in it. All right, and then one little touch up for the basket, because that's where the lines are, so I'm thinking that's where they want it shaded. Alright, that is done. Now, there's my happy birthday. You probably can't even see that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make clouds, but I'm not going to use any stamps. I'm not going to even use paper towels. I'm going to wash the whole card. It's all watercolor paper, and it's just clean water. And see, it's just barely bowing, I don't know, buckling, turning up. It's barely doing it. Whatever it's doing it's just barely. Then I'm going to add some water, and I'm just going to pat it. I don't want to brush it all the way because I want to make some clouds in there. But I do want my birthday. I do want you to see that. Okay, that's the exception. I do want that dark. But see how when I just pat it in, now it looks like clouds that are in there. Looks good. All right, now let me show you the one that I had made earlier. I didn't put the happy birthday on, but I want to show you what it's going to look like when it's completed. So let me go ahead and see if I can quickly put it together. And I know that I don't want this video just to bore you to tears, but and I don't know how to edit yet, so sorry. Okay. Does have to put it the right way. Okay, so this is the one that I did before, and it's still a little wet, but I'm going to still go ahead and put it together, because I know I have supplies to make another card just like it. Let's see, let me do this. Okay, do that. I just want just a little edge. It's got just a sliver. Sorry. I can't stand that. Okay, so now I'm going to do the scallop. Okay, there's that. And I was trying to get it so that the scallops kind of line up too. You know, I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. You know, I want them to, like, this one in the center to be as close to matching, you know, symmetrical as possible. Okay, so and I love this little tape runner. You know why? Because I got it for 99 cents at the 99-cent store. I just can't see myself, you know, spending tons of money on the tape gun. You know, I admire you guys that do that, but it just, I'd rather spend my money on, see, there. Now, I even thought about popping it up, but, you know, at this point, it doesn't even matter because it's already dimensional because it's bigger than the panel. And then with the happy birthday, that's right here. Let's say if we just place it right there. And you can see it. Even if I just glued it flat, it's already dimensional. And then I'm going to put it on just a white card base, which you won't even be able to see because the craft will be covering up the whole panel. All right, well, this is it. I'm going to let it go. Thanks for joining me. If you learned anything, if you enjoyed it, if you can give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. I'm still new at this, so if there's any comments or any suggestions that you have for me on how to, you know, if you want to see something different, I do have some some kits and stamps that I have on order that I was going to do some more hauls on, that I'm kind of waiting for them to show up, but the weather is keeping them from coming my direction. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and have